Okay, so, right, we're on. Okie dokes. Is there audio? Can we hear me? Okay, hi, and welcome to live chat. Live chat with the construction site. But never mind. Welcome to live chat, and we're going to be talking tonight about Sak Yant, which are the spiritual tattoos that is very, very common in Thailand. And many people from around the world go to Thailand for these spiritual tattoos. Okay, so for those of you who watched the live stream episode of the Paranormal Zone covering Sak Yant, you would have some general information. Hi, those who are just joining us on live chat and typing on the thing, I can see. We have Nathan Ang, hello, and my famous sister. Hi. Okay, let's just I'm gonna say hi to everybody, and then I'll give you some information, some extra information that maybe perhaps in the 22 minutes of an episode of the Paranormal Zone we may not have covered. A little bit of history of the Sak Yant. Apparently, Sak Yants have been in existence about more than 2,000 years ago. I think it was mentioned by one of the masters. It was during the time of the Ayutthaya period that it first started. Originally, how do I say, government officials and civil servants had used Sak Yant or tattoos on their wrist in order to display their status. I mean, I guess when you are a government officer and you need to have status and stuff like that. Okay, but that was not as important a discovery for me as the aspect of history where Buddhist monks originally tattooed or engraved Sak Yant onto the skin of the warriors. Okay, and that was for protection and strength during battle. It was believed that by covering their entire bodies from head to toe with these spiritual tattoos, it would prevent the soldiers from being pierced by knives and arrows during war. So the origin of Sak Yants was basically for protection and to gain good luck. I think maybe I could be wrong or being too judgmental, but I think nowadays a lot of people do, until they understand Sak Yant completely, I think that some of the superficial reasons for a tattoo is not so much for one's well-being and protection, but maybe more for good luck and prosperity. However, if you watched the episode just now, you will see that the ajahns or the different masters, they stress so much on how they stress so much on the blessings and protection powers of these Sak Yant. And for me, I think what I found most intriguing was the how do I say? I'm going to show you some pictures. What I found most intriguing is that there were people whom, when they understood very deeply, they went for protection, and sometimes this protection is invincibility, indestructibleness. Okay, my English not very good tonight. Not being you can't be destroyed, and what happens is they put these tattoos on their body, and they're specific with a master for this invincibility power. And you can see I witnessed this when I was in Thailand, and I think this master was not we didn't have enough time to feature him. But what happened was I learned so much, and I actually touched the blade. He's holding a blade right now up there. It's not a big huge pencil, yeah, it's a sword, and it was sharp, okay. And this student of his has been following him for a long time, and I saw him bring the sword down on this person's back, and you can see that he's not wearing anything, and there was zero, not even a scratch, maybe some redness, but there was no how do I say, penetration of skin. Okay, so you have the origins of protection and the maintenance of people wanting to use Sak Yants for protection, and in this extreme is about invincibility, which then makes sense to the history whereby soldiers had used had Sak Yants from head to toe to protect themselves. Let me see. Other than the very popular Sak Yants, which I had the opportunity to meet Ajahn Nu, who became very famous after he did Angelina Jolie's tattoo. And he was telling me, I will show you a picture of him. Okay, he was telling me how, because I asked him, I said, I noticed that a lot of people who did Sak Yant, they did the 5-line tattoo Sak Yant, and that's actually called Ha Tao. I hope I say this right, Ha Tao, which had its origins from a Buddhist monk in Chiang Mai, and his temple was Wat Thon Pin, which unfortunately does not exist anymore. And this monk who originally started this 5-line spiritual tattoo was called Kruba Kam. Okay. Anyways, the understanding I got from Ajahn Nu on this is that these 5-line Sak Yant originates from the Buddha's birth date, and it is about protection, well-being, good fortune, and all things positive. Okay, here is a picture of someone who's receiving a Sak Yant from another master, and you can see the 5 lines which come down vertically. Yeah. Okay, so that's one of the very popular ones. Then of course you have the one called Gao Yot, which is Buddha Peaks, and this is the one that has, if I'm not mistaken, 9 lines. Okay, and just let me read to you what I found about it while I show you a picture. And yeah, I know I'm doing this creative thing with pictures and trying to talk and click for pictures is because my very good friend called Yi told me to be not so boring, you know. So I decided that I shall be not so boring and try to be a technical guru and try to talk, read my notes, and click pictures. I think I'm doing pretty well, unless you guys are not seeing anything. Okay, the Gao Yot is the Yan Kru or Master Yan, and is the most sacred Buddhist tattoo with very wide-ranging powers of protection, and is quite possibly the most important of all the available Sak Yant designs. Yeah, so many people will choose the Gao Yot as their first Sak Yant because of its universal powers, and then later on add on other Sak Yant designs of their choice. Yeah, okay, so you have many people whom have these Sak Yants, and okay, let me get my, because I just decided to start reading other people's comments. So okay, hold on, give me a second. All right, so I've told you about the 2 very popular Sak Yants, and then we have, okay. Hold on. Stay with me. Okay. If I get a Sak Yant, knives cannot cut me. technically, based on what I understand, that is a very easy thing to theoretically understand and realistically misunderstand, because in order for the Sak Yant's protection and blessings to take effect with you, the recipient or the luksit, which is meaning the student of the master, first of all, you must get it from a master in which you have a connection with, an affinity with, and whom you believe with, and you receive his teachings, because the power of the Sak Yant comes from the blessings of the master and his powers, his personal powers, and his knowledge of the scriptures, etc. So if you choose, a master that is less credible, less knowledgeable, half-baked cookie, then you get a half-baked powerful Sak Yant, and then you get half-baked protection, and if someone stabs you, you get half-stabbed. Does that make sense? So one needs to maintain one's faith, and also they always say one must be a good person and spiritual, respecting our parents, our Buddha, and being a good person. That is the simplified version. In fact, there are mantras one would recite, and there are practices one would recite. And also, people do need to, because nobody's perfect, we all know that, and also, as day goes by, day to day, in 24 hours, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, we make mistakes. So we need to, what they call, regenerate, refresh, just like how you would replenish the forest if you take it down, how you would replenish your nutrition after being ill, similarly with the Sak Yant. And that is why people attend what they call Wai Kru, which is the Master's Day, like your Guru Day. And I attended the Wai Kru of Ajahn Nu, and it was very interesting because I witnessed people to be really honest, when I actually witnessed the Wai Kru and everybody was taking trance and going crazy, I thought it was a circus, really. My ignorance made me think and judge that it was a circus, all right? But actually, in hindsight, with much more knowledge today, it was the process of regenerating the energy, purifying whatever sins that they may have committed, and also they kind of take power of the animals that they have tattooed on them, and I think it's a kind of a cleansing process. Yeah. So when I was there, I know there was so much noise, and many people going into a state of trance and possession. This is a picture of a lady who just started screaming. Yeah, the microphone, makes it, it's being recorded. But the microphone wasn't mine. I wasn't recording that. This was by their own people. But anyway, so you have people screaming during a Wai Kru, and it actually can be quite overwhelming if you're not grounded to watch all this. I saw people basically crawling like a crocodile, and then they took off their shirt, and then I saw that they actually had a crocodile tattoo on their back. And then there was this very unusual lady. I got to tell you this. It was actually quite entertaining, with all due respect. She wore all pink. She was really pretty. And then suddenly she started to twirl and dance all over the temple like an angel, And then I was told that she had a tattoo of an angel that looked like what she was dancing, simply because she wanted to embrace femininity and tenderness in her life. That brings me to why many people, on top of the popular spiritual tattoos that I mentioned earlier, the one with 5 lines and 9 lines, on top of that, you have people whom have tattooed literally lots of stuff on their body. The guy I interviewed in the episode, I can't recall his name right now. He was an Italian gentleman who visited Thailand very often, and his guru was Ajahn Toy, and he had tattoos literally all over his body. I mean, maybe minus his face, of course. And he had different symbols. He had different animals, symbols, talismans, and different animals. So that made me go and understand the whole thing about having animals tattooed on your body. And I'm not talking about little rats. No, not. Okay, we don't tattoo rats. Okay, fine. Like little butterflies and things like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about literally the whole back has a tiger. Okay, the tiger. Okay, seriously, they were beautiful. I saw this guy who had a beautifully tattooed tiger, and it had its scenic, not just a tiger like that. It had all its scenes, and I was told that the student had come and spoken to the master and received teachings from the master, and this student was particularly timid, and he wasn't very brave to take risk or even simply making decisions about his life and his career. And so after learning about the powers of Sak Yant and the blessings and spirituality and spiritual aspects of Sak Yant, this particular student took on, I think it was Ajahn Mat, Ajahn Mat's student took on the tiger tattoo. It took about, because of the details of the tattoo and the blessings and the prayers required to complete the entire tiger. If I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me right, that tattoo took about 14 days to complete, because it can be very painful to be constantly punctured. I mean, even if you are constantly slapped on the same side of your cheek, you would feel bad too. So imagine if someone keeps on going at you. Okay, why do I relate slapping to tattoos? I don't know. Maybe because I enjoy slapping people. Anyways, okay. So that explains why many people have taken on animal tattoos on their bodies. Okay, so you have combinations of the 5 lines, 9 lines, and then you have stuff, animals. I mean, I have a tattoo, and mine was nothing spiritual. It was just purely for fun. Yes, I had a shallow moment, and I executed my shallow moment. I have a tattoo too. It's my own personal. It was something I wanted to do, and then I got it done. Okay, so it's a little pixie with wings. Yeah, okay. I don't think my mom or my sister should comment about my pixie tattoo. Thank you. Okay. Let me see. Let me look at some of your questions now. Decorative tattoos. I think the fact that it is a decorative tattoo will not have its significance and purpose like a Sak Yant, yeah, which is already starting as a spiritual tattoo. So I think decorative tattoos are exactly what it is. Decorative, colorful, some are very creative, but that's about it, yeah. Are all Sak Yant masters also ordained monks? To the best of my knowledge, the people or the ajahns or the monks that I met are masters whom have taken vows and they have studied. At the same time, I have gone to a gathering. It was, and I guess it was some auspicious day. It was a gathering of different spiritual people. I'm taking much note of my terminology here. I'm not calling them masters or monks, but I'm calling them spiritual people, because I am not sure of their lineage, and I'm also not sure of their background. But I went to this gathering where people, some were monks, some were just spiritual people, some were just normal people. They set up little booths, and some of them did tattoos. Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't think so. I don't think that everyone who can do a Sak Yant on your body, like any tattoo artist, is ordained. So that brings me to my word of advice based on what I've seen is that if the purpose of you having a tattoo on your body is for protection, well-being, bringing forth positive things, being a better person, it has a spiritual significance. There is a holy meaning behind it. If that is your purpose, then I would say please do your due diligence and research and study. Go to a reputable master or monk who has been around for a while and has a reputable temple. Yeah, don't go to the ones on the side of the streets that you can do it at half the price or whatnot you have, and then get the wrong thing done. Yeah, if your motivation and intention is spiritual, then my advice is don't be a cheap Charlie and get the wrong thing put onto your body, okay? There are cheap Charlies out there, and don't think that, oh my god, they're a holy monk, why should they charge me? Hello, water not free, electricity not free, time is not free, and sometimes they need to maintain the temple, okay? But use your brains, see things, do your due diligence, all right, before you go and permanently ink yourself. Yeah, okay. Oh, right. Yes, thank you, Sir Yi, for that comment about invisible Sak Yants. Yes, when I was in Thailand doing research and getting more information, I learned about invisible tattoos. And I was thinking, why would anybody want invisible tattoos? So I was just, asking questions and things like that. And what I learned was people get invisible tattoos because they don't want others to see that they have this protection. Maybe I would say, for example, if I wanted one, I would have it invisible as well, because sometimes, as a woman, you wear certain gowns off shoulder. Maybe you don't want people to see that. And for me, it's a vanity reason. Not that I have an invisible tattoo, okay? All right, but then I also found out that apparently when people with ill intentions see you with a protective Sak Yant or protection Sak Yant, they actually can be not so nice and do things to you. And maybe they're just trying to challenge the protection of your Sak Yant. Yeah, so that's some of the reasons why people actually have an invisible Sak Yant, simply because they want the protection, but they don't want the publicity, so to speak. Yeah, they don't want it to be noticed. Okay, there's some very interesting questions, which I guess I have to skip because I only have 6 minutes left. But I have to answer this one. Can tattoos protect? Can these tattoos protect from pixies? I actually don't see what's wrong with pixies. I have a pixie haircut, so I think pixies are cute, and I have a pixie tattooed on my knots. Okay. Alright, I just put myself in. I have a pixie tattooed in an area where the sun don't really shine. And so because it's a private thing, if I had known about invisible tattoos, maybe my pixie would be invisible. But anyway, it's there, and you can't see it. Even if I were to take off my top right now, you still can't see it. Therefore, you know which part of it is in, and we're not going to talk about that anymore. Okay. Right. Okay. This is a very interesting question. In places that I have been to do research and film the paranormal zone, such as Thailand and as well as Jakarta, the paranormal aspect of things and the spiritual aspect of things and I guess sometimes everybody wants protection, everybody wants good fortune, everybody wants positive things, and these are really great. It's a very common thing that everybody wants, and it is across all religion, cultures, and race and all. I mean, I don't think there is a person who would, in his or her right frame of mind, come up to you and say, "No, I don't want protection. Hit me, kill me, shoot me." I don't think so, unless they're high on something else. My point is, um, yes, because of the demand, economics, right? Because of the demand, supply needs to meet it. And because of ignorant demand, any supply can meet it. Does that make sense? Which means commercialization is a result of a high demand and maybe insufficient authentic supply. Okay, so that has created a lot of people who may not be authentic in their credibility and lineage, and they're just fulfilling a demand. And if you are an ignorant consumer, or and you are not, or you don't do your research well, then you could be a victim of commercialization of spiritual tattoos. So I would always say, if you plan to put something on yourself permanently and ink yourself permanently, and you have sincere motivations, I strongly suggest that you take your time. After all, Sak Yants have been around for more than 2,000 years, and I think it's going to be around even longer than that. Take your time, find the right master, and do your due diligence, okay? I was told that the Y Crew, which is the Guru Day, was a day that they come and pay respects and make offerings to their Guru, and that is also the day that they purify or regenerate, or how do I say, put back the energy in their Sak Yant in the event that they have done anything that may be not so holy, not so nice, not so positive. Yeah, I like I said earlier, I was observing all these people taking into trance, and then I was observing and how they would vomit and they would growl, they would act like an animal, and then they would sweat, and some of them would pass out. And based on my knowledge of observing these kind of things, I have learned that sometimes the body goes through that kind of process, which we have called a trance, in order to purify themselves so that they can regenerate the Sak Yant. Yeah, so I hope that helps with the question. Okay, Gary, hi, you missed the show. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna type something here. If you go to YouTube and then go to YouTube. Oh, okay. My buddy, I know, typing links, reading questions, posting pictures, trying to make sense. It's going to be hard. But my friend's going to post up the link, Gary, for you to go to. It's on YouTube. It's the Paranormal Zone Season 2. Okay, and you can go there and watch this episode there. All right. In fact, season 1 and season 2 are both available on YouTube, and you can go and watch it there too. Season 3 and season 4 are not available because I still have contracts and I can't put it on free TV. Ta-da! Okay. Batu Caves. The states seem similar to what happens in Batu Caves. Is it like during Thaipusam kind of thing? Okay. Yes, that is correct. It is a spiritual cleansing, purification, and many people do that. And what's very holy about Thaipusam is not just the fact that they go through the rituals, and they have all that piercing on the day of Thaipusam, and it's amazing. It is admirable. But what's really purifying is the process that they go through, the rituals and prayers that they go through before the Thaipusam and the piercing, the keeping their body clean, doing their prayers, and many of them will be vegetarian and things like that, to make sure they cleanse and purify their body inside out before they are fit for the rituals of Thaipusam itself. Yeah, so yes, it's very similar. It's minus the piercing. I didn't see any piercing in the Y crew in Thailand. Yeah. Okay. What goes into the body during trance? Okay, let me just backtrack a bit. When we watched the episode on trance, you may or may not have watched it last week, but trance, there are different levels of trance. Some is complete zero remembering, you don't remember anything, your body is completely taken over. And then there are different levels, and there are levels like some of the practitioners where they don't take trance. The energy or the deity in which they work with is communicating with them. I mean, people like them, practitioners like them, I feel are very advanced, and they don't need the to be taken over in order for them to still execute and help others. So similarly, in this particular state, I observed there were different levels of people going into their trance state. Some had their eyes completely rolled back, and then they lost consciousness. I think those were in complete trance, and then there were some that were still communicating while still looking like in trance state. I am told that what enters the body, or the energy or spirit, on a positive side spirit, not the ghost kind of spirit, the energy or the spirit that enters the body when you observe these students take trance, is the animal energy which is tattooed on their body, in which they have embraced to make them a better person. For example, tiger would be for bravery, and you've seen crocodile, which I'm assuming is also for strength and maybe bravery as well. I have seen, I think it was a snake, and I was thinking, because we have negative connotations with snakes, but apparently it's for stealth, swift and quick thinking, or something like that. I didn't particularly understand. Okay, all right. Gary, I think you can still watch it live stream. Just follow what Angela is saying, because if you leave it to me, I'll just say go to YouTube and watch. Go to YouTube, search the Paranormal Zone and find season 2, and then go look at Sak Yant. All right, guys. It was a pleasure talking to you tonight. I hope that the information I've given you adds more value and adds on to your knowledge of about Sak Yant, or spiritual tattoos, I like to call them as well. And I think that they are protective, and I think that they are blessed, but I always caution, because life is just like that, and people exploit others, and therefore commercialization has a tendency to override its original spiritual intentions. I ask you to be patient, do your research, do your due diligence, visit a few masters until it feels right. Okay? So, if you're going to go get a Sak Yant, have a beautiful journey, and may you be blessed by the protection and blessings of a Sak Yant. If you don't intend to get a Sak Yant, great, that's fine too. All right, but most importantly, guys, thank you for coming on to the live chat. asking great questions. For those of you not asking questions, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Plus, next Thursday, our episode would be Ghosts in Java. Yeah. So if you're interested, why I was interested to go find Ghosts in Java, tune in next Thursday, 9 p.m. Malaysian time, 8 p.m. Indonesian time, and look out for more news on my Facebook page. Good night, and thank you for coming online. And now I gotta switch this off. Night!